Thank you. Over to you,
So,
Ash.
uh, are you going to share the PPT, or I
No,
can
you
share?
can share, right? You can control it better that way. Yeah.
Second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, Ashish, it's visible. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, great. So I cannot see you guys. Okay. So I'm just seeing a screen. Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you for inviting me over here. And it's definitely a great privilege to be here. And just to give a brief background of myself, I mean, when we started taking out system, it was quite long back. I was in a boot camp in 2013, getting started with OutSystem, and we are at that point competing with .NET application. We had a vendor who was trying to develop the application faster, and we threw this idea, and we are right into the race. And after that, I would say, I mean, we have been working in many projects and big projects. We have our success stories as well as our failures. As we keep working, I mean, we come to a stage like we are in OutSystem 11. In between, many challenges came up, and we tried to overcome them in various ways. But when the ODC thing that has been introduced, I mean, that's, I would say, this is called the state of the art. I mean, um, cloud is, if we look into the down the line, I mean, for next 10 years, when people say cloud is going to be there in the market dominating the expertise in cloud technologies, and we are already there. So I was just kind of trying to give you a journey where we stand today. So I'm pretty sure that OS 11, everybody is an expert here. You guys have been working. I think we have done performance tuning. We have done many things on that. And recently with O11 also, we tried to infuse all the Gen AI and the Forge component. If you look into it, we have gone in that direction also, and we have started using many of the cloud services with O11. So O11 is capable of doing all this thing, anything that needs to be integrated with the cloud. And I would say, as a normal experience, I would say, when we work with a customer, and for 1 year, fine, 3 years, when the fourth year comes into play, the data increases, and many things comes up, and we get ourselves busy in platform related issues, then including any kind of new features as fast as possible. Now, ODC has come already 2 years back, and we all know, and I hope many of you has participated in hackathon and everything, and we have used tremendous amount of agents. How it is going to be? It's a kind of a agents are kind of a new way of looking into solving the problem in our system. It is not just kind of integrating API. So we are maturing on that the ODC regular development activities. And still, ODC comes up with microservices and highly scalable thing. We are maturing there. And the next thing that has already come to the market is generative AI and SDLC. This is SDLC powered by AI. So this is where we stand. So as we move to this one, to the ODC, I mean, all of you might have done the then there is associate ODC associate training, and now many of you must be preparing for the architecture thing. And for some people, you might have an access to the ODC environment to do things. I'm not exactly sure which state you are in, but I would try to focus on the architecture side. And I will be focusing, today's agenda will be, in my opinion, the most important is the libraries and versioning, because and on the way, I mean, as I will be going from one slide to the other, I will just give you a hint on the ODC architecture test, what comes and what doesn't come. So it is not totally dedicated for the ODC architecture training, but I will give you a emphasis on those points. So before all of you get into it, I mean, there are a couple of things. I won't describe these things in much detail, but some of the things you should know. You are not in environment to environment to environment, right? You are already into, when you are kind of doing in ODC, then you are already inside the cloud. And when you are inside the cloud, there is a lot of gateway things, concepts come into the picture, and we have all the cloud resources will be there. These are the servers, virtual machines, and you will have the data. And the cloud provides a lot of security over there, so you are kind of having added security. You are having the cloud
Dash.
functionalities that, yeah.
Sorry, I guess the presentation mode we are not able to see. Can you reshare
Maybe.
the screen with presentation mode?
Okay.
Yeah.
um, this I have created only one tab. Okay, let me see. Can you see my screen now?
It's black.
This one?
No, it's blank.
Black.
We are able to see black thing. Yeah.
Can you do me a favor? If you run it also, that is not a problem. I will just ask you to move.
Sure, I'll share. I'll share.
Fine. I can see your screen. Can move. Okay. Go to the next slide, please. So this is the structure. So moment you go to the cloud, you have all your database and the services that are there, and there is absolutely internet gateway and high security is there. We can make use of all kinds of cloud front and all the security that are available in cloud that is already provided. So when it comes to many people still fight with on premise and OutSystem and cloud and security. So you are always availing every facility and security that is available in this cloud. So cloud comes with two things, I mean, off the cloud and in the cloud. Off the cloud security provided by cloud, and in the cloud security is provided by application features and everything that we have to focus on. Can you go to the next slide, please? This is again just very quickly, your application is running on container and it is managed by Kubernetes. So that's why it is making it highly scalable. Can you go to the next? Okay. Now, when it comes to the application, definitely you must have heard that I use the terminology called microservices. So the very first thing, ODC comes with the application and the concept of libraries, and applications are very, uh, mm, it is pretty much it's a logical unit. It has the UI, and it has an independent life cycles. And we can say it is pretty much the same thing as OutSystem 11 that you can do with the application. The only thing is that our the approach toward the application is different. For example, I have been doing lately with OutSystem 11 with big customers and trading platform and all this thing, and slowly things keep growing, and we have the modules, we make it really gigantic and all this thing here. As a architect, I mean, as a very cautious decision, how small is that application, can it be in microservice, and you always put a boundary in such a way that anybody else who wants to use another application that wants to use it, it should be loosely coupled either to service actions or through the REST API. Especially on the service action. So your you are not thinking towards modules, rather you are thinking, yes, there will be smaller modules, but the application should be serving like it should be like a microservice. Okay. Next, please. So here, that again, supporting to what I said, all these things are supported here. You may not be finding great BPD and all that stuff, which everybody knows about it. And if you know that recently, uh, we have done all our hackathons and everything, we have used the events, and we have used the timers, and we have used many of the cloud available notification services to do things, so that we can decouple we can break down the logic into smaller pieces and still make them working in a very nicer way. And rest of the things, if you see, everything is there for the application, all the things that you have been doing. And the only thing is the latest addition is the role, which is a public thing right now. And there is a lot of when you get into the exam, like it is going to because of this role change, there will be a couple of questions there. Subham can stress on that particular thing, but it is exactly the same thing, I would say. The only thing is, when you are developing the application, that's my suggestion. uh, it isn't it's not out system is everything. We use all this thing. You can integrate with cloud services. We can integrate with any of the cloud services. That is, as I said, the serverless things, notification service. You can use generative AI, and Bedrock, and many other things to make your application powerful. So you have much more freedom in it. Next, please. And again, this is the second slide or third slide in the architecture diagram, as I was showing you. If you have started these are the microservice based application, and hence they are loosely coupled. They can be connected through the service actions, which is eventually the REST API calls. And we can say everything that you are packaging, that is going inside a container. For all of you who are coming from a high code background or any kind of cloud background, they already know. And I can share my experience when I was doing on the Java programming, and everybody does their programming on on the local machine, and you can use tons of libraries over there to make it up and working. No matter how many better ways you do in order to move the code to the production or something, there will be something mismatch of the library or something, and which can create a lot of problem. And the containers solve that, because you create a Docker image of that, and the moment you create the Docker image, and you can deploy it safely. So your application is running inside a container, which is sufficient enough to take care of all the dependencies of this application. So there is no big surprises over there if you can get that thing done. Now, next please. Yeah. Now, when it comes to library, now here we are, if you compare with ODC 11, the way we look at this libraries, I, I think the moment people used to come and say, okay, there is an integration that is required to SAP, or it is an integration with something else, and any GIS system, say for example, we are integrating. So we just quickly build a wrapper around it, and we call it a library. And traditionally, we know in O11, themes are in the library. Then you use reusable component in the library, and there is a special warning there, always saying, okay, this should be business agnostic, but everything is in your hand, right? It is finally falling into the foundation layer of the canvas model in O11. So library has a place in foundation layer, and rest of the things up to you. And when the application grows and all the people start putting these libraries, and you finally get a chance to see it in the discovery, not in AI mentor, and in the discovery report. If you take out the report, and you will find many of the here and there foundation layer, somebody referring to, there's a lot of illegal references that is being done, because it kind of starts proliferating. No, here, I mean, you here in I can still say, like, I mean, you what is called in library, the thought process is same, because we use patterns, layouts, UI blocks as libraries. We can take themes as libraries, and uh, we can have the wrappers as the libraries. So this diagram clearly shows what can be there, but here they have enforced it. The moment you go there and you create a library, the moment you create a library, it can do this much, right? I mean, these are the things: blocks, image, and themes will be there. And client action, server action. This is again emphasis that you are not creating any service action, nor you are exposing any REST API. You are just consuming the REST API over here. Then here you are only using the enumeration, that is the static entity. You are not going to create, these entities over there in order to create. The only thing, there is some of the things that they try to emphasize on the ODC exam is, if I am using a library and I want to have a log of things, and where I'm going to store all of them, is it going to be inside the library or not? Then you have to say, like, it is, you can have only the static entities over there. Can you go to the next? So, what is the relationship between application and the libraries? If you even go to ODC, and you can say these are the consumers and producer relationships are there. So these applications can refer to the libraries, and what kind of and they go together with the application inside the container. That is the biggest advantage, I would say, that is over here. So basically, if you compare with traditional programming, in high code, say for example, you are writing a Java code and you are doing an import this library and that library. So in those high code scenario, it is already understood that, okay, this is a library and it doesn't contain any data. I'm using the functionality of this, and for my application to run, these are the dependency, and these should go with it. And exactly, we have the same thought process is being replicated over here. I have an application, I'm using a couple of libraries. Those two are tightly coupled, and they should go together inside a container. To the next. So here, this image is kind of a very Subham, can you scroll a little bit down? Or this much? I mean, we can see the last portion of the screen is kind of okay. Okay, so this diagram, you can see these two applications are connected through a service action, and usually we have we see they're loosely coupled, but they can share the screens, they can share the entity if the entity is public, and whatever is in public, that can be shared. But the moment it comes to application and the library, and you see there is a server action, client action, structure, and static entity, whatever is there, these are the tight coupling. Definitely, they ask a couple of questions, some variation of question here and there. It is going to be what these two applications are going to be connected, loosely coupled. Is this the only service action? Then there will be a couple of questions on some of the public entities in order to check your understanding right here. And these two applications, two libraries can be connected through the server action, because they cannot the libraries cannot expose any service action. So these are the two. Then obviously when you do in OutSystem application and you create the dependency, that means these two libraries are dependent. Then that means when you are kind of trying to publish this application, it is going to take both the dependencies into the container over there. Next, please. So this is something that again, this again, not being able to uh, it is an this keeping it business agnostic. It is the responsibility of the architect, but what it is saying in the guideline is it should be highly reusable, but there should not be anything on the business. But I think, and it is not going to store any data. So I know I was doing a review of a big customer insurance company, and there was a challenge because they say it was integrating to some external system, and I used to have a wrapper and all this thing. And in order for couple of things, like they are not business data, and we know that when we integrate patterns for integration, like either you take the data or you store the data, or you do the timer, and you can do many things. And some people challenge that, okay, I have a screen that has nothing to do with and nothing to do with the business, but it is directly related to, I mean, this is configurable, but I want to have this UI, but I want to have this a little bit of data over there. Can I do it and not do it? And the moment you become, sometimes it happens like you do not have enough time during that point in time, and you are still agreeing to the fact that, okay, this has nothing to do with the business. It is business agnostic, but I'm still going to have some screens and all. Then at the end of the day, after a couple of months, a new architect will come into the picture. He will run the discovery, and they will start screaming, okay, look at this. These are the things that are having, you have the screens, you have this and that. So it happens, but you always have to be, I mean, right at the beginning of this one, if you have this mindset that it is going to be business agnostic, and that will be great. I mean, you will be, I mean, doing a good job over there. Now, library versioning, this is, I would say, this is I would take you back in my memory lane. I mean, versioning has been a great issues, right? As I said, in OutSystem 11, library is just an element inside the foundation layer. So it does not have its own life cycle. Its life cycle is associated with the application. And some people later on, they came up with the idea, why don't we have another application? We have a common components. There is another thing that came, let's design something called common components and try to do it. But in I would say library, the level of the library has been raised from a just foundation layer to they have given it as an application status in OutSystem, and they maintain the versioning. And versioning was never always a challenge, because from the time, I mean, last 10 years, I mean, when people come from the high code and all this thing, and different companies, because it's not us coming from the out high code, but when you are dealing with the customer, definitely there will be somebody sitting over there which is who is newly converted from I mean, he has a complete high code background, and he is coming over here and constantly, okay, I don't require this version. This application was running on this library, and the other application is running with this advanced version of the library. I don't need it, and how it is going to work. So this is and OutSystem has the ODC has made it very clear. We all know about the revisions. When you publish and do all this thing, you have all the revision numbers and all that stuff. The moment you are going to release the library, the moment you are going to release it, it is going to ask you a number, okay, 3.0.1, 1.0.0. So the moment you do that in the release version, then it can happily go into any of the application and can be bundled up with any application. And when it goes with that application and you publish that, that means the container is created. That means within container is a great boundary, and within that the library lives. Nobody else, I mean, that dependency is with that particular application, and you are happy with that. So versioning is a explicitly specified on versioning is explicitly given in ODC for a particular library when you release it. And revision is something that the moment you can go back, you can see during the development in your development environment. So there is a question you will find on these two, how they are different on this. And um, can you go to the next, please? Okay, next, please. So uh, publishing an app, as you know, you can publish an app, and you can the moment you on the studio, ODC studio, you publish the app is available in the portal. And what it does is it takes the even the publish, creates a container and pushes the app. So that is and obviously when you are doing an app, it is going to ask you uh, what are the dependencies and all that stuff, which library in all this version. That's a separate story I will touch. But when two applications are there, they are in two different containers, and they can only be they can talk to each other through the weak references, which is the service action. So it is you can imagine, I mean, if you see, there's a lot of example this do, like, I mean, I have a claims application, I have an application that collects the payment, and I have an application that allows people to register for all kinds of policy and all that stuff. So we what we are going to see, I mean, had it been a O11, we could have created big application with all the modules and navigation, the screens and all that stuff. The moment we come here, we break it down into microservices or smaller applications and package them into separate containers. And when they communicate, we communicate between the two applications to the through service actions. But it has its own challenge, right? Having the request going inside the application and going across the boundaries, there are certain challenges. And if you see, like, I mean, there will be a lot of things on ODC architecture they will cover, like, I mean, what happens when something breaks down if you are talking between the application. That's a separate way of handling. But for now, if you can see, if you publish you create two different applications and you publish them, both of them will be independent, having an independent life cycle, and they can be deployed into the production within the container. And container is being managed by Kubernetes. So whenever there is the load balancing, so whenever there will be load on this application, that can be managed. Again, here also you will find a lot of independence because it's a separate application, and we can do the load balancing for that particular application separately as an individual, as opposed to you know we are not dealing with environments anymore like O11. That means environment will have all the facility, load balancer and everything as a whole. Here at a separate level, we can handle it. Next, please. And this is again when you are going a library. Once again, this is re-emphasizing whatever I said and the diagram you have seen. This application and the library, they are tightly coupled. We call it as a strong reference. Okay. So now this is something, and exercise I would like to you guys to think about it. I do not know how many of you have this. This is what I was trying to do with the libraries and what is meant by independent lifecycle. So basically what happens is I have a claims application which is 1.0. And I have a library which I have created, and that is version 1.0. Now I bundled them, I published the application, and it created a bundle, and which is can be deployed as a container, and it is all working fine, the claims application. Now I created, and somebody worked on the library that they have enhanced. Say for example, I mean hypothetically, I have a um, I have a library which, when given some kind of a location and everything, the map or something, it kind of extracts the country for you and returns. So this is pretty much business agnostic, and that can be used by claims application as well as the trading application. Now there is a requirement, okay, along with that I need the state and the zip code of that particular thing. So somebody went there and he changed the code, right? I mean, he changed the even at the signature level. Now library 2.0 there, and I'm going to do the trading app 1.0, and I am referencing to library 2.0. When I'm doing 2.0, then I create the container and it is up and running, right? Absolutely. So there will be two application, claims 1.0 and trading application 1.0 running, but they will have uh, two different versions of the library. Now, now again, there will be a situation when, say for example, claims 2.0 application we are kind of trying to develop. What happens is, I'm just exactly stating you the reality, because sometimes the product owner as well as the sponsor of the application of the claims, imagine sponsor and the product owner of the claims applications are different, or you have one sponsor but product owner is different. Now when you come across this situation, then they decided in the claims 2.0 application, we want some additional features, and we do not want to add any feature that is related to the library changes between version 1.0 to 2.0. We are in the process of adding a new feature, and that is the requirement of our release, and we have 5 stories or 2 stories or 3 stories in order to complete that, and we cannot change our timeline, so we do not care about this version. Now what will happen is, if it is a if it is an O11 and something like that happens and two application are using, as you know, I mean, obviously there will be a change. Suddenly the maybe imagine there is a product owner, somebody for the libraries, in order to develop the libraries. uh, that person is going to say, okay, this library, when I'm changing, we have a release dates and we are going to go for it, and for us it is very critical and we are going to do it irrespective of whatever you are thinking. Now both of the application, the owners is going to product owners are going to, they have to engage and they have to add new stories. So whatever the library that is going to be there, whatever the changes will be there, first of all we have to make room for use that, in whatever the changes and whatever the impact, that we have to really think about it. So this will affect uh, mm, claims and trading release cycles also. And it is, when your application is small, that does not happen. When the application uh, gets bigger, this become a real problem. Now if I give you another example, like, I mean, that happened to me. I mean, we were doing two different big application. Now suddenly some person said, okay, let's have the common components, and it will reusability, and we will include, I mean, it will help people to reuse the components and hence reducing the development time. And we came up with that particular thing. And these kind of chaotic situation, when the release cycle, when the product owner become the library, the common component became different, uh, the the development cycle of both claims and the trading application, both were kind of the speed of those development got reduced, just because there is a dependency got created. This is exactly what we are overcoming in ODC. So it is the biggest concept. the library, in my opinion, because first of all, it gave the library to a stage that it is like an application, give it an independent life cycle. And at the same time, uh, whichever application wants to, whichever version of they are comfortable with, they can be going to the production. Now the ask is very different. They will say, okay, can you add this feature tomorrow? People will say, okay, at any point in time, you have to put it in the backlog and you have to do it anyway. So both the applications should use the same version. But what about tomorrow? Tomorrow, tomorrow, if you have to release, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with another version of this library, and I can do that. In this, I have tried already on the ODC environment. Those of you have an access, you can always try this, and it's absolutely fine and working. So we can do that now. I mean, I was just trying one more thing, like, I mean, say for example, by mistake, because when you are trying to go for claims 2.0, the moment you go for claim 2.0 development environment, there is already a higher version that is there already, which is the ODC studio is going to remind you, do you want to continue with this older version that you have, or you have the latest version over there? There you have to say, okay, you have to dismiss that, and you have to say, okay, I'm fine with the older version. And if your application is working fine, we are perfectly fine. So this typical problem has been resolved. And can you go to the next, please? Uh, this is again, when we are then this is again the revision side of it. I mean, this still remains the same. I mean, we do not have any problem in that. I mean, we are still continuing in this. Uh, but there is an interesting thing, all these revisions and many of the things previously, um, O11 was stuffing everything into the in one database, and database was growing. I mean, transaction data is growing at the same time. These kind of data is also growing like crazy, right? And they have very nicely cut down, like, I mean, some information, all these kind of information going to objects, as objects going to S3 bucket, and some of the things going to DynamoDB. Transaction and all the data is going to Aurora DB. So so that way, I mean, when you split things like that, then scaling up is going to be is a very nice thing. I mean, you do not hit that problem of database is an issue, because all of you are working real-time applications. After 3 years, trust me, if you are doing a data in-out system application, is going to fall apart. So we have been trying in many different ways how to put it in differently. I mean, somewhere else we give the data to the BI. So those kind of obstacles are no more, because we can scale them up whichever things we want very easily. So next slide, please. And configurations, you go to the ODC portal. I mean, this is a typical case where you have a license key or something, or any kind of a configuration property that you want to do in all the environment. You do not have that notion of going to various environments. So this ODC portal is everything for you, where you choose the environment that you are going to have, and there you change it, and accordingly the data will be saved. So this is again, in across the application, uh, you can segregate and you keep the keys, because say for example, you are doing a GIS integration and it requires a key, and they have a test environment key, they have a production environment key. So those are the things very nicely done, and absolutely no problem, even though you are going to do it from the ODC portal. So again, this is the very first this is the secret. I mean, if you want to have any kind of secret keys that can be managed, and just want to emphasize on this, if you have seen in the very first diagram, I said AWS secret manager, key manager is already there, is introduced, and that handles all this complexity, and that is also into play over here. In you can manage those. Again, endpoints can be managed for each of these can be configured for any kind of a library that you have to manage that REST API endpoints. You can do that very easily. Before that, it just I'm not sure how many of you have an access to it. So I have. Um, I will just kind of the thing that I was trying to explain to you in the different. Let me just give me a minute. Let me. Okay. Give me a second. Uh, Subham, I want to share my screen actually.
Yeah. So please share.
Just hold on a second.
Guys, if you have any questions, please put in it in the chats. Once the demo is over, we'll take those questions.
How are we doing on time, please? Um, can you guys see my screen? Something?
Yes, yes, Ashish.
No?
Yes.
Okay, great. Finally. Okay, great. So what I have done is, as I was, let me show you this. This is the picture I was kind of sharing with you guys. So this is the application which we were trying to create from the claims. So basically, you can. These are pretty. So what I have done is product library. This is the library which created, and if you see, these are the consumers. Claims and trading applications are the two consumers of this application. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I will show you that claims is the application. We have actually a lot of thing projects are over there, so that's why it's kind of a looking little bit slower, but I don't know the reason. That could be the one I'm thinking, because we have so many things going on over here. So this is the claims application. So this is the producer. If you go, you can see this is the version that I'm doing. This is 1.0.0, which I did the versioning of this application. And this claims application is using this version. And the moment I go for the trading application, see this is version 3.0.2. This is the, now I will show you that how this application, how they are different. Here I just this is claims application, which is a version 1, which has the same server action, which I did, like, I mean, you take two inputs and you put the full name over here. And if you do this, mm, hopefully, I mean, this works. I mean, there is something that I was having a version 2.0 also in between. So this is a very silly example, but the thing is the server action, which I'm going to show it over here. where is this product live, and this is the one I'm playing with. I am right now, it is the latest one, and it has three parameters in it, and the one that it was the claims application using has a two parameters in it. Now the moment I go back here, go if you go to the trading application, see this, I just said this is 3.0.2, and now I will go to the library, product lib. This is again the terminology. See, this is the version history. If you go to the version history, this is all I gave the version, how the version is going to look like. And when you are going to give the version, so 3.0.2 we have added extra parameter in the simple one, and 2.1 is also we have added a one more parameter. Initially we added some more text to it. So all these versions, when I'm going to release the library, I have the opportunity to create, like, I mean, what is the version number. So revision is the one which you saw, like, I mean, when you are publishing in the development environment. Here when you are releasing the library, again, apps are not released, only libraries you are going to release. You are going to, when you are going to release the library, you have to this thing. And then there is a some of the questions, like, I mean, even say for example somebody by mistake. So when I was kind of doing, say for example, when I'm doing a 2.0, and it asked me, um, uh, do you want to upgrade or something, somebody by mistake does the upgrade over there. So now your library is version 2.0, you have to live with it, but your UI is not. In this case, your UI is this. I mean, if it is not a I would say, if it is not a breaking change, that's fine. If the moment, if you have written the version 2.0 in such a way that it is taking three parameters, if it is not taking, it's still happy, it can display all these things. If you can take care of those aspects, it's not going to break. But if it is going to be a breakable change, then obviously things will break. Now, how to revert back to the older version of this application, how we are going to publish, I was just trying, I could not do it, but still, that is a I will try that. If you do by mistake all the lower versions, if you are still, you are in such a position that you are kind of adding multiple versions to it, that itself is a problem, why you have to add so many versions. But the beauty is, you see these two applications running in two different containers. This application is looking different, this application is looking different, output is different, and you are still surviving. If tomorrow somebody says, okay, add some changes to my application and publish it, while the library team owner, the common components team, is on their release spree, I mean, they have a different release they are doing, I do not bother. I can clearly go ahead with it. And this is called independent life cycle in case of library. So in my opinion, it's a big change, and we require, if you have it in mind, then it will sort out many of the problem. I have recently even gotten into trap of this common component team. Things are slowing down. Then when things slows down, I mean, when you come to ODC, it is you are expected to do things faster. Even when you are going to go with when you are going to go with mentor, it is even faster. You are many things are taken care of, but that's really fast, and you have to do things really fast. So this is what it is allowing to do. And whoever has an access, they can try more. I mean, if we can have any further session to do the live from start, from the beginning, take an application and break it down into libraries and run the two different applications, we can also do that. But I think I have completed the whole time. So do you want me to I mean, anything else we can cover in this session, or the questions?
Yeah, yeah, we can go through the questions, Ashish. People have a very good question. So, Manthan was asking, is SOAP supported in ODC, like as a built-in?
See, SOAP is nothing. You have the XML thing, right? I mean, we have been working with the JSON thing, right? SOAP, uh, it is it is going to work as It is there for all. I do not think that is not should not be a problem, though I have not tried it. If I see that as an integration endpoint, but I think everybody is dealing using the JSON thing right at this point.
And yeah, so we discussed with OutSystems also regarding this, and right now as a built-in SOAP is not supported, right? But there
Mhm.
are some alternatives that you can take care and
In this,
integrate with SOAP. So built-in is it's not supported, Manthan, but you'll find a lot of documentations which you can use to integrate SOAP in OutSystems ODC as well.
I would add that, say for example, ODC has its own Forge components, right? You already know the built-in. The underlying technology is a bit different. So today also, say for example, if I create a library or wrapper of any kind of AWS GenAI or Bedrock components, so you know, because O11 being mature enough, we do have the connectors over there, we do have plugins Forge component. We have not created a Forge component over there in ODC, and hence we are not able to do it. There is a less contributor in ODC area to make the application up and running. Even if you will find many of the things that are here, that is not over there. The way I see it is right now, Manthan. I mean, if you are when you say state of the art, and many things are there on the cloud environment also, which can be exposed through API gateway, and that can be connected also. If it is not without system ODC Forge component, immediately you will see there is a lot of APIs in the marketplace, and the things are available, and they are again those can be connected. Those things can be taken advantage, or you could be the one start writing the Forge component.
And yeah, Amit was asking what are the performance considerations when using libraries in OutSystem ODC applications. So performance wise, what should we consider while using libraries?
Library has small reusable components. I mean, they do not deal with the data, so performance is not coming into the picture over there. Rather, we struggle with the versions in library, the older version, newer version. It's a piece of logic, right? It doesn't have any data, so I think performance is not a criteria there.
Yeah. And Chandra Vikas was asking, see, libraries are not supported entities, so it's very hard to create things. So why we have this limitations in ODC? Why they are not giving entities in library?
I mean, this is, you heard me saying that independent life cycle, right? I mean, if you are going to have the entities, that means you are adding some business to it, right? It is no more business agnostic. But if you look into the, if you are, I mean, just try to draw a relevance with Python coding you are doing, or the Java coding and .NET coding. You have included many libraries into your application. They are pure piece of logic, and you are using them. So you have to go with that mindset. And if you come across with anything that is looking like a candidate that requires an entity, you can make it an app, because you can application wrapper application, and then use the library and add the entity, and that's how you are going to have the functionality of entities. And that is one of the questions that they ask, like, I mean, if you have to log how many times this has been accessed and all that stuff. I mean, we do not have an entity, and you can have that. So that's a workaround for, I wouldn't say workaround, that keeping the exact pure the library in the form of a library. It should not have, the very thought process has come from the high code. So I believe we are aligning ourselves, and hence database is not there.
Yeah. And Manthan was asking one more thing. So we can't bring Forge component from O11 to ODC, right? Right now we don't have that option.
I don't know about the Forge component. I think we no, I haven't seen. I mean, you can move. We have been discussing about migrating O11 app
Yeah.
to ODC. Um, they are planning to come up with something like that, but as you know, in the when you application gets bigger, it is not there. Say for example, mm, the component that are adding to the S3 bucket, the connector for the S3 bucket O11 is same as in the ODC 11. So those are the things that can be done. Those who have attained a certain maturity over there. If you are having a PDF reader or something, whichever you are doing, then you would definitely say, okay, you have to create something like that.
Right.
That's something my
And
interpretation.
And Amit was
Mhm.
asking one more very interesting question. So, because of the latest changes, so previously, what our system suggested that we should create service action and then share the service action for roles sharing, right, between applications. So
Mhm.
now, since roles are public, so what do you suggest? How should we use roles in multiple applications?
You can go ahead with that, Shubham. You have an already expertise when you are seeing question. Manthan is, are you going to give the exam or what is that?
Amit is asking
Amit,
this.
Amit, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a very interesting question, Amit. So recently, in the latest update, our system has changed and given the functionality that role can be set public, right? So in this scenario, how we used to do it in O11s, create a role in a one module and set it public and then use it into different application. Now, in the same way, you can also do this in ODC. Previously, we
Doesn't
had
it?
these issues that we should, yeah,
They in the previous documentation, the question was, as you know, like I mean, they say for example, two applications having HR manager, and the user you have to assign application one HR manager, application two manager, and
yeah,
you have to keep the text same, and that's the best way of doing. That's what the documentation were, and in the question they still keep you asking, okay, why can't we do in one application HR manager open expose and service action, and every application ask it, then it has a performance implications. But with the public, those things are, I mean, you don't have to worry about two things, that those two options in the questions are no longer going to be there. I think the last question that they came up with the public role thing, right? I mean, how
right.
you go for it. If it is a public, then two application is a public entity, right? They can see each other's, right? So you don't have to need any kind of a service action for that to expose.
Okay. And Manthan is going for architecture certification, ODC. So all the best from my side. If you have any questions which we can help you with, do reach out to us on LinkedIn. We'll share our LinkedIn ID. You can reach out to Ashish, me, Neha.
Just
Uh,
a mm,
yeah,
just
yes, Amit.
a normal thing. I mean, focus on the documents. It is very interesting when it comes to how the whole thing translated to cloud. That is for education purpose. You should study that. Questions are not coming. Questions are coming from the Word document. It is an architecture test, so they there is a lot of emphasis on the verbiage and the language that is being used. So thumb rule, just strike out the questions that are irrelevant, and you will left out with two options. When you have two options, you read the question and try to, and the keywords, those are very important, you have to keep in mind, so that can help you out definitely.
Okay. Thank you for your inputs, Ashish. Yeah, it helped me a lot preparing for certification. Hopefully, it will help others as well, guys. Yeah, anyone else has any questions, guys? Please put it in the chats, whatever your question is. Or if you can unmute and ask your questions as well. I believe there is some construction happening from Ashish background, but yeah.
Oh,
So,
really? Let me. Okay. Today is Saturday. I'm in office, so they are busy in doing their work. So I'm sorry about that. I'm muting myself.
right.
Okay. There was one question. Can you give the link ODC KB? What does that mean? Sorry.
Knowledge base.
Knowledge base. Okay. Can you give the link ODC knowledge base?
Uh, that I think from my experience in guiding all these guys, I mean, 5 to 6 certification, those who have cleared it, it is the document, word document that they have provided. You have to read it carefully, and that should be it, in my opinion. And if you are, you can contact Subham and Neha on this. But if you want to keep working, it is always good for a developer to, check out and see, I mean, how it is in a guided environment, like develop this and add this the way I was adding libraries into it. I'm not sure if you have an access to ODC, but definitely if you come across with these guys, they can do it in front of you and guide you right there. So for some people, doing makes more sense. Some people can grab the concept very well. So if you believe in that, you can connect to Subham, um, and Neha to get it done in front of you.
Okay, guys, don't drop out. We have a Q&A session. We have a quiz also for you guys, right? And this is a series going on. So we have two more sessions planned for this series. One which is an in-person session. So if you are in Pune on 21st of December, we are planning an in-person session. We are bringing Junaid, one of the solution architect here in Zebia. So for the in-person event, so we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to celebrate Christmas and